Welcome back to Mr. Wickham's virtual classroom, where today what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at using grids to find perimeter and area. So not every shape is going to be a square or a rectangle or whatever we can use to find length and width. Sometimes they're irregular shapes, and we need to know how to deal with irregular shapes and define the area of those shapes, okay, and the perimeter. And so, what we normally do is when we think of grids, we think of like Battleship, right? It runs in grids, and we think of um, graphs, right? Where you have a grid because you have an x and a y um, axis. And so what we're going to be doing is we're just going to take a look at this problem that we have in front of us. We're going to break it down. We're going to find the perimeter, which is the outside, if you recall. Okay. So the perimeter is the outside. So like the walls of your bedroom. And then we're going to find the area, which is the inside, which would be like the carpet or the floor of your bedroom. Okay. So let's take a look at the perimeter. What we're going to do is we're going to write down every single measurement, okay? Making sure that every side has been covered. So first I'm going to start with the 6. So we're going to have 6 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4. We got another 4 up there. 2. Man, we got a bunch of 2's, eh? And that's where you can get lost too, guys, is because when you have a lot of twos or a lot of the same number, you can get lost in your addition. So before I go any further, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double check to make sure I got everything. So I got my 6, yes. 3, yes. 2, yes. 4, 4, 2. This is where we could run into problems. 2, 2, and 2, and 3. Okay, so I have every side covered. Now I got to add them up. I'm just going to add up what it is. So 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, and I just keep a running total on the top. That just helps me. 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, and 30. So 30 centimeters. So 30 centimeters is going to be our perimeter. Now, area. How do I do the area of this? Normally, when you have seen area, it's been, area is kind of been nice and it's been packaged kind of like a nice little rectangle here, right? Where you have 1 and you have 2, and you would do length times width, then you would do 1 times 2, and then you would get your 2 centimeter square. Very nice, very easy, very compact. But what about this? What am I going to do with this room? Let's say it's a basement, right? Where the furnace is kind of tucked in here, but I need to do flooring for all of this. I need to figure out how many square meters of flooring I need or centimeters of flooring that I need. How am I going to do that? Well, what I need to do is I need to cut this up into squares and rectangles. So do you see this big chunk here? Is there anywhere that we could cut it? Now you're probably and where I want to cut it is where it kind of, where I can join up lines. So can I cut anywhere? I got 3 different options that I can do. I want to try and use the biggest possible rectangle or square that I can because I don't want to be doing too many of these. So I could cut right along this line right here, and that would give me a nice rectangle, right? And I could cut it along right here, and that would give me a nice rectangle down here. Or I could cut right here, which gives me this big, huge rectangle, okay? And with one cut, I can pretty much solve half of my problem. So let's do that. Let's cut along this line right here, okay? So I'll just put some dashes in there. So there is A. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out what A is. Okay. Now, is there anywhere where I can cut these? that's going to give me rectangles or squares, and it's going to be easy. Well, I have a line coming here. I could go across here, or I could do this. What I'm saying is that no matter what you do, you're going to end up with a rectangle or a square, so it's going to be fine either way. Okay, so let's cut it across here. All right, so now I have B and C. So now area now has become fairly simple. I have length, I have width. Each one of these is a 1 centimeter cube. So let's take a look at A. Okay, so the area of A is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3. So 6 times 3, which is going to give us 18. Okay, now if you want to figure that out, here's 6, 12, 18. Done. But we're not quite done the whole thing. We need B yet. And B is 1, 2, 3, 4 by or times 1, 2. Well, what is 4 times 2, folks? 4 times 2, as we know, is 8. And then we have C up there at the top. Well, it's 2 by 2. And 2 times 2 is going to give us 4. So I have these measurements now. What I want to do is I want to find the area. So my area is going to be A plus B plus C. And that is going to equal the area. So I'm just going to switch pens. I'm going to grab my black pen. And I'm going to take these numbers right here. And I'm going to bring them down here. So I'm going to plug them in. So A, we said, was 18. B, we said, was 8. C, we said, was 4. So if we take those and we add them all together, 18 plus 8 is 26. And then 26 plus 4 is 30. So my area is actually 30 centimeters squared. Now remember, you put your squared units in there because we're dealing with area, and that's the way it should be done. So let's go back up here. And what we should notice is that, and it's not always going to work out all the time that the perimeter and area are the same. It just so happened in this case that it does. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and we're going to count all these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because it should equal 30. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So my area is correct, perimeter is correct, and that is how I find the area and the perimeter using grids. Okay, if I have a funky looking shape up here or a shape that's irregular, I need to break it down into squares, into rectangles, and then add them together to get the area. Okay, or just, you can count all the cubes if you wish, but if it's a huge, massive irregular shape, you're going to want to break it down. Breaking it down then plays into our strength of area being length times width, and then we're able to find our perimeter, we're able to find our area, and then we can move on. Okay, so that's our lesson for today, and this is Mr. Wicklum signing off.